it's very hypocritical. Don't gatekeep unless we're doing it, right? And that's kind of what they're looking to do here. As soon as they get in the gate, they turn around and shut the door and throw the key away and say, "You're not welcome here anymore, you bigot." We're going to have this person on our show on Monday. Now, I was not familiar with this person until Eric from You Mean the Movies actually DM'd me, and he's like, "Hey, have you heard of Lunduke before? Are you familiar with Lunduke?"
Yeah, he put out something, I can't even remember, I think it was an IBM story about, like, insiders talking about how they're changing their DEI stuff, and I love when people put out insider leaks, and then I was able to retweet that and be like, look, these people aren't changing anything, this is the Bridge Initiative, this is weasel wording, here's how it's being weasel worded, and there was something like Robbie Starbuck taking credit for what Lunduke had been doing in regards to the IBM story.
Okay. Well, Brian Lunduke, he'll be joining us on Monday. So if you're new, make sure you hit subscribe and join us then. It's going to be great. He had this story here, and just a quick background here. He is a tech journalism with zero ads and zero big tech influence. We cover the big tech stories that other publications are afraid to touch. I wanted to talk about this, and I only want to watch a couple minutes of this video here. But it says, leftist extremists in open source, PewDiePie fans not allowed. PewDiePie tells his fans to install Linux. Leftist activists within open source, including prominent leaders, are declaring PewDiePie fans fascists and Nazis who are not allowed.
That's insane that people still say that about him, like, over a decade later.
So I wanted to play just like the first couple minutes of this video to kind of for a little bit of context here. And then I would love to get your impression of this. So let's see what he has to say.
A few days ago, legendary YouTuber PewDiePie, he told everyone he installed Linux. He said, "I installed Linux and so should you." And he produced what was essentially a 22-minute long commercial for why you should be using Linux instead of Windows. It was a pretty good one, too. More power to him. He clearly is having a ton of fun installing and customizing his Linux machines, and he's having a great time with it. His video has been viewed now by about 4 million people over the last 3 days, so it's getting some serious traction. But what's really fascinating about this isn't that there's some YouTuber, big or small, that decided, hey, you should use Linux. That's happened before. What's fascinating is the reaction from among the leftist extremist activists within the open source world. And I'm not talking about just some fringe people. I'm talking about a whole lot of people, including prominent leaders of large Linux projects and distributions, are coming out and saying flat out, PewDiePie, you're not allowed, because you're a Nazi and you're a fascist. That's what they're saying. And they're saying anyone who is coming to Linux because they saw a video by PewDiePie, they're a fascist and a Nazi too, and they're not allowed. Here's one post. Linux communities beware of PewDiePie fans, regardless of PewDiePie's personal politics, which clearly at the very least are problematic. By the way, anyone who says, oh, those views are problematic. Oh, problematic views. He says problematic things. He's a problematic person. I instantly discount the of that person. Problematic? All right.
So before we continue, this sounds very familiar as far as, you know, in the gaming space. And Kirsha, you've dealt with this stuff where it's just, it's name calling. It's just throwing out words that have no meaning at this point. Fascist,
and even
Nazi.
this, they're just like, oh, it doesn't matter what PewDiePie himself believes. His audience are mostly fascists, and so that makes him a problem. Like, what?
Right, and that's just it. You know, it's not just him anymore. It's his audience, and we can't support that here. So
it was like my article where they were just like, oh, one Kirsha fan is a Nazi, and it's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm sure there's at least one of those in a lot of people's audience. I'm sure I have communists who watch me for some reason.
Yeah, and as I said at the start of the show, I'm sure that you probably have somebody who gives a lot of money to charity or goes to Africa and helps support all the dying kids over there or whatever, does really great things. They didn't choose to write about them. They didn't choose to spotlight them, you know? Not a whole lot of love right there. Let's go to continue.
He goes on to say, it's fairly well known by anyone who has been following him for any number of years that the vast majority of his fan base are enthusiastic fascists.
Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like,
It's like when they called like Matt Walsh and his fans like stochastic terrorists. Like, what? What are you doing, man?
It's crazy.
Wow. Then the Dan Foray. This guy is the leader of the Elementary OS project.
You mean Daniel Foray? Just throwing that out there. Okay.
Fairly prominent Linux distribution. He says, this right here is the thing you are going to have to recognize as a red flag. They're going to try and say, actually, you are an extremist and unreasonable to anyone who says keep out PewDiePie. You're being gatekeepy. Why does it matter what someone's political views are? End quote. Don't allow this beep. No Nazis allowed in my bar, period. Don't care. Get the beep out. Tell your friends I said beep Nazis too. Jeez. So basically he's saying anyone who follows PewDiePie is a Nazi and to get out. Lots of swear words with it. Anyone who says that you shouldn't gatekeep the world of Linux is bad and should not be allowed and is probably a Nazi too. They like to repeat this Nazi bar thing. They talk about Nazi bars a lot. And what this is a general metaphor for saying, oh, if you have a location like a bar and you allow someone in who's a Nazi, pretty soon it's just going to be Nazis. That's the Nazi bar metaphor. So from their standpoint, if they feel like someone's a Nazi, you can't allow them in.
So there's a lot there, and I think that Lunduke is 100% right with a lot of this stuff, just pointing it out. And I know, look, we've been through this. You've been through this. It's just crazy to see how this is so much more than video games and the insanity in there. Pretty much all of tech. This space is surrounded and engulfed by this insanity where they just throw out words, Nazi, fascist, racist, homophobe, whatever, whatever.
They do it not only to like just silence the people that they're specifically attacking with that, but they also do it to make other people and companies afraid to associate with that person because they're like, oh, we don't want to associate with these words. We don't care if it's true or not, but people are making a fuss about it, so we don't want to associate with it. And this is a cudgel that they have been using to silence and deplatform and unperson people for well over a decade now. And it's good that some of this is starting to go away. Companies are starting to get a backbone. They're starting to realize, hey, we're actually going to get more support if we tell these people to screw off. We're going to get more support. We're going to make more money if we don't give in to these bully tactics. But it's still going to take a while for things to heal completely and for these people to lose all of this institutional power that they're used to having.
Well, I'm looking forward to having this conversation with him on Monday when he's on. He'll be joining us. Yeah, it's going to be great. And just to kind of see the spread across all sorts of media, whether it's games, entertainment, Hollywood, and freaking Linux of all things. There's activists everywhere. And I saw a chat say, and I'm sorry, I didn't have it pulled up, but they said like gatekeeping is bad unless it's us, right? And that's kind of the idea. How was that drink? Was that good?
It was the last of my coffee, sorry.
Oh, last your coffee? Was it good? Was it good coffee?
Yeah, it's good coffee.
Let's go. All right. But yeah, that's just the thing. It's very hypocritical. Don't gatekeep unless we're doing it, right? And that's kind of what they're looking to do here. As soon as they get in the gate, they turn around and shut the door and throw the key away and say, "You're not welcome here anymore, you bigot." Well,
they take the position of like, we're not gatekeeping, we're just doing the morally correct thing by keeping Nazis out. Because yeah, just like communists are not human, obviously actual Nazis are also not human. But when you call everyone you disagree with, everyone who makes edgy jokes, everyone who dares have like a slightly right of Mao political position, when you call all of these people Nazis, you're doing a great disservice to how like actually those people are. And it seems crazy to me that anyone still takes it seriously, and it feels like we're perpetually living, in 2014.
I feel like it's offensive to, I don't know, like 6 million Jewish people who died when you call everybody Nazis. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I don't know. The whole thing is nuts. But anyways,
what if it was 8 million?
What if it's 5 million? Who knows? But just the whole idea that like the whole thing is just such a mess, and these words are thrown around. The idea that Nazi and fascist like have lost meaning
Mhm.
is amazing. That it's overused. It's like you know, especially with like PewDiePie, like dude's like living his best life right
Yeah.
now. He's got a wife, a kid, just hanging
He moved
out,
to
doing his
Japan.
thing. Yeah, it's fucking killing it, man. Nuts. Panic and Skyfaller came and says VTuber girls like Kirsha get hate, ridicule, made fun of. But after meeting some IRL, I've come to understand behind the VTuber girl on screen, they're actually pretty cool dudes. JK.
It's all right. My dick's bigger than yours because it's made out of glass.
Right.